Coming into the 1960s, the development of America's economy is beginning to thrive, and its increase of diversity has made an impact in many areas regarding improvement in the economy and challenges to change perspectives. During the 1960s, there was still racism against minority groups, and in general, anyone who wasn't white. Even the police would beat on minorities on the street, and accusations would be placed on the innocent. Due to this injustice, a group formed called the Black Panther for self-defense. Their leaders, Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, that formed the group in Oakland, California in 1966. The party's purpose was to patrol African American neighborhoods in order to protect residents from police brutality. The origin of choosing the name Black Panther came from Newton because the Black Panther doesn't strike first, but if the aggressor strikes first, then he'll attack. Black Power became a hot topic. Publication on brutality and unfair circumstances in jobs still is to this very day and includes more groups. Before even incorporating Fred Hampton and his impact in only the Chicago area, let's go back to Newton's accomplishment before starting another vital chapter. They created the 10-point platform that became a foundational guidelines and ideals of the party. The Black Panther Party also gave free breakfast for school children, sickle cell anemia testing, legal aid, and adult education. On behalf of the NAACP, the Black Panther Party was gaining national popularity.
This is exactly what black people have been crying for 400 years. One, we want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our own black communities. Two, we want full employment for our people. Three, we want decent housing fit for shelter of human beings. Four, we want an end to the robbery of the black community by the white racist businessman. Five, we want decent education that teaches us about the true nature of this racist, decadent system, and education that teaches us about our true history and our role in the society and the world today. Six, we want all black brothers to be exempt from military service. Seven, we want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of black people. 8, we want all black brothers and sisters held in federal, county, state, city, jails, and prisons to be released because they have not had a fair trial. They've been tried. They've been tried by all white juries who have no understanding of the average reasoning man in the black community. Number 9, this is where Brother Huey is being caught. We just want the courts to make sure we have peers on the jury of people from the black community as defined by the jive Constitution of the so-called United States. The 10 is a summary with a major political objective. That is, we want land, we want bread, we want housing, we want clothing, we want education, we want justice, we want peace. The major political objectives, we want a black plebiscite. The UN, the black colonial subjects will participate, dealing with, analyzing, projecting politically upon the racist atrocities that have been committed against black people in this nation.
Fred Hampton was born in suburban Illinois on August 30th, 1948. In school, he was noticeably gifted in academics and athletics. He wanted to play for the New York Yankees after graduating school. Hampton soon changed his mind and began pre-law at Trident Junior College. Hampton was inspired to study law in order to use it as a defense against police and their brutality. He became an active member in the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, also known as the NAACP. With that, Hampton led their youth council of the organization, West Suburban Branch, over 500 members. The party's 10-point program that integrated black self-determination and the elements of Mayonism inspired Hampton to join and move more downtown Chicago. Hampton's leadership abilities were apparent there. He brokered a non-aggressive pact between Chicago's most powerful and dangerous street gangs. Hampton's personal charisma combined with his organizing skills and a gift of speech allowed him to be noticed and rise quickly within the Black Panthers. Hampton became the leader of the Chicago chapter. He organized rallies, worked with People's Clinic, and the Free Breakfast Program. Hampton was next in line to be appointed Central Committee Chief of Staff of the BPP, which caught the interest of the COINTELPRO, the Counterintelligence Program, aka the FBI. The FBI made the BPP a priority to decimate the party's leadership. FBI convinced the criminal William O'Neill to infiltrate the BPP and manipulate Hampton. Succeeding, O'Neill acted as Hampton's bodyguard and director of chapter security, worked to undermine the coalition of the negotiations Hampton had established, which created a major rift and distrust of the Black Panthers. December 3, 1969, O'Neill had drugged Hampton with a powerful sleeping drug in his drink and left afterwards. The FBI after raided the apartment where Hampton and the other Panthers had been settling and proceeded to open fire. Still unconscious, Hampton later died to 2 gunshots in the head. The remaining survivors were arrested with charges of attempted murder, armed violence, and a variety of weapon charges. Deception of the FBI was later brought into question. There was a break-in at the FBI field office in Pennsylvania where the FBI documents were relieved. Hampton's death was brought on by the FBI and serves as an injustice by the police. There was a break-in at the in 1970s. The charges were dropped for the Black Panthers. The survivors and the relatives of Hampton sued the feds and local government for $47.7 million due to their civil rights being violated. A new trial was held in 1979, and later it was settled that the federal government would pay $1.85 million. In 1982, the Black Panthers, Fred Hampton, had strived for justice. Hampton had successfully used Chicago's charter to his advantage to help those in the city to survive. With many achievement comes opposition, and that made the fatal end of Hampton and other Panthers, though they left behind the strength of the will of the fallen and challenged multicultural change and power.
Yes, with me, you dig, I need to know some more about it. I wish you had some more literature about the educational thing here. Because, you dig, as far as we're concerned in the struggle, the way we look at struggle is that this depends on the educational thing, you dig. Because
this depends on the education.
Well, the whole thing.
No, but in the end, this does. You can form this with no education. You can form this and this.
No, not the way we're talking about forming it. You know, right. We're talking about forming it right. You know, it's not on the paper. We didn't write it on the paper.
You form it right with no education.
No.
Let me give you an example. Jomo Kenyatta formed the excellent revolution with no education. And on the day of the end thing, Yomo told the motherfucker, said, well, you know, you can educate, hate the enemy, but I'm your brother. I'll help you lead the revolution. Now I'm going to oppress you. Another example, Papa Doc in Haiti. Papa Doc in Haiti hated everything white. Man, you couldn't put this white paper in front of Papa Doc's face. But he moved all the white people out and he took over and be oppressed. He did, because of no education. And the people that had been educated, they just said that we don't hate the motherfucker white people, we hate the oppressor, whether he be white, black, brown, or yellow. So we got to know the educational program to find out what it's going to be in the finale. A lot of people, Jomo Kenyatta is called never a revolutionary, but an ex-revolutionary. So is Papa Doc. They brought on a successful revolution. That thing in the Mao's was a bitch. Bantu freedom fighters, all that kind of action. But what we're saying is that it's the end. That you don't judge Castro now. You can't do it. Nobody in this room could judge whether Castro's going to be a revolutionary or not. You know what I mean? We're talking about things, you know what I mean, with China, the People's Republic, and even at the stage they're in now, talking about even going on further into a communistic state. That's what we're talking about. That was a revolutionary. So we got to understand here the educational program that you have to be able to figure out whether it will go on the right lines, where the people will end up in a situation where they can be able to really control themselves. You understand what I'm saying? With no education, the people take this local foundation and start stealing money because they won't be really educated to why it's the people's thing anyway. You understand what I'm saying? With no education, you have neo-colonialism instead of colonialism, like you got in Africa 9, like you got in Haiti. So what we're talking about is there has to be an educational program. That's very important. As a matter of fact, it's so important for us that a person has to go through 6 weeks of our political education before he can consider himself a member of the party, able to even run down ideology for the party. Why? Because if they don't have an education, then they're nowhere. You dig what I'm saying? They're nowhere because they don't even know why they're doing what they're doing. You might get people caught up in the emotionalist movement. You understand me? You might get them caught up in because they're poor and they want something. And then if they're not educated, they want more. And before you know it, they'll be capitalists. And before you know it, we have Negro imperialists. We know how to ward these frantic fascists off. That we have to defend ourselves. We intend to defend ourselves. We did so in the past, and we're going to do it today, and the day after that, and the day after that. Because only through this proper example of the self-defense and the proper example of retaliation, and by letting these people know that we
move from some basic laws that anything that goes down on the oppressed people, on the part of the oppressor, it should be reciprocal. And in plain proletarian workers' language, it takes two to tango. As soon as these motherfuckers go, we go.